What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are going to talk about Married to Medicine, Season 9, Episode 7. And can I tell you something? The masturbation of it all is it's a little crazy. And Toya, you gonna do whatever you can to embarrass Eugene, huh? Let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So the episode begins where everybody is getting up and they're going to go to dinner. Okay. So they're getting dressed and they're talking about basically the day before with the whole blow up with Contessa and Heavenly of it all. Okay. So they all get together, they go out to dinner and they go to this place called Circa. The owner of the restaurant comes out to greet them, and Simone tells the ladies about her book and asks for basically some advice and some ideas on some things that they can talk about in the book, according to all of the other couples. Okay. So as they're all going out going to dinner, Contessa decides that she wants to apologize about the day before, which was fake as heck. Like, girl, we do not care. Okay. Moving on. As the owner of the restaurant is in there, there's Quad doing this weird flirting of it all. I'm like, Quad, girl, says he not to each their own, but Sir was not attractive. Okay, he might can throw down in the kitchen, honey, but I don't know. Quad like to cook, so maybe she like it. I love it. Whatever. Anyway, Anila quickly tells her, sis, Sir is married. So I'm gonna need you to keep your eyes on the plates and the food only, and that's that. Okay. Moving on, they get their appetizers and they start to play some games, child. It's like Vegas is full of games for these chicks. Okay. So Carrie, the silent one, because I almost forgot Carrie's behind was there. I was like, Carrie, what are you here for, sis? Why you here? Because I almost forgot your damn name. But she asked the first question, child. So the first question was whether you like marathons or quickies. And Quad reveals she likes to be slightly a little choked in the bedroom. She liked to, have a little grasp around the neck, if you will. And she even had in her confessional, she had on a dress that had like a strip around the neck, and it kind of paid homage to what she likes in the bedroom. Okay. I was like, okay, sis, you want to get a little choky choke. That's fine with me. You like it. Go on, keep on doing it, child. Them toys can't choke you though. Anyway, moving on. So then Toya and Heavenly go back. Then Heavenly asks if there are problems when women are the breadwinners in relationships. And Quad says it can be. And then Toya was like, well, no, I don't think so. It shouldn't be a problem if the man is a breadwinner. And Heavenly says, well, according to the Bible, the man should be the breadwinner. And Toya says, listen, me and the Bible get along real well, but I don't believe that. First of all, let me stop you right here, Toya. You would not be with Eugene if he didn't have no money. If you didn't know that he was out here about to get the coin to feed your loins, you would not be with Eugene. Okay? So stop it. You're playing with our intelligence and you're lying. Okay? I don't like that. Just tell the truth, girl. You like a man with a little stack of coins. That's okay. If that's your, preference, living your truth. Okay? So again, they go back and forth and do this and say that. And then Toya says, well, if the man got to be the breadwinner, then Damon got some work to do. Basically insinuating that Heavenly has more money than Damon. But here's the thing. When you're married, it doesn't matter. His money is her money. Her money is his money. So they both got a bag. And that's all we learned from that conversation. Moving on. Okay. So Heavenly says she doesn't think Toya will be with a man that doesn't have money. And Heavenly, I agree. All right. So the next question was if your husband can have female friends. And of course, Simone pipes up real quick because she is now having PTSD from the little chick that I guess Cecil was friends with, and they playing tennis together. They doing all these things together. And I'm just like, Simone, that whole listen, I don't know the ins and outs of the friendship that Cecil had with this lady, and I don't even know for sure if it was actually inappropriate. I think that that whole situation was trumped up. I don't know. Maybe there was some more stuff going on behind the scenes that Simone really didn't reveal. But basically, what she said was with any relationship, whether it's your friend, whether it's your family member, or whatever, there needs to be some established boundaries. Okay. So, whatever, Simone. He ain't the lady friend no more. And y'all writing a book and y'all still together. Moving on. Okay. So then she goes on to say that Cecil is a people pleaser and he was more concerned with people thinking he is cool than whether or not he was pissing her off, child. Okay. And so Toya says the chapter will be named People Pleaser or Me. Okay. And I'm like, okay. So then Contessa asks the next question. And she asks, what are the symptoms of a dysfunctional marriage? And she says it's not the same for everybody. She says she doesn't believe everyone's opinion should come in your head. Now, Contessa, I'm going to stop you right here because you seem to not even be able to express your own opinion. You had all these ladies in this group being your mouthpiece at every chance you could get. Even at the reunion, you couldn't even choke up a feeling. Okay, you had everybody else seemingly saying how you felt. So you want to sit here and talk about how you don't want anybody in your relationship and how people shouldn't be in your relationship, if you will, but you had all these people in your relationship and you discussed your relationship. That's why it's very hard for me to even get into this whole situation with Contessa and Heavenly and whether their friendship is, if whether Heavenly is wrong and whatnot. It's just a mess. It's too much back and forth and it's very sketchy. I am a true believer that this is all for a storyline and that Contessa is just full of okay, and that's that on that. All right. So moving on. Then Audra says, what were you most surprised about after getting married? And Toya says, child, that their penis is not going to get bigger. Toya, you got to stop doing this. Toya does whatever she can to embarrass her husband. Okay. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Just a couple seasons ago, you were talking about how, they were calling him Big Genie, right? And not because he's a thick man, but because they were insinuating that Toya, because she was going to, y'all remember that season was an episode where she was going to Dr. Jackie, right? Or Simone, her doctor. I can't remember. She was going to one of them. And this is when she had the miscarriage and everything. And they were hot and heavy and doing it and doing it well. Okay. And she insinuated that the meat was packing. Okay. But now you're trying to say that the meat ain't packing. Mind you, you're basically saying that the sausage is not even fitting inside of the satchel. Like, what is going on, ma'am? And you don't embarrass your husband like that. Mind you, you're in front of your friends, number one. And two, you're on national TV. But you decided to marry him. So, child. And Eugene want to be mad at Karen and Anila over a U-Haul truck. You need to be mad at your daggone wife because she's the one that's constantly embarrassing you whenever she gets the opportunity to do it and doing it with a smile on her face. Okay. And that's that on that. I wouldn't have never said that. And even Anila was like, oh my gosh, Toya, don't say that. Like she was embarrassed for Eugene and he wasn't even there. I'm like, child, this lady right here is highly disrespectful. Okay. They go into oh, and again, that's probably why Eugene's mama don't like her. If y'all remember in some previous episodes, his mama wasn't talking to Toya. They don't really get along like that, like they cordial. But that's probably why she don't like her because she always embarrassing him, her daggone son, and she probably knows that he could have did better. But I'm just saying. Moving on. Quad says, how do you feel about ask the ladies about how they feel about masturbation and how often you should do it without interrupting your marital sex life. Okay. And then Toya talks about the shower head again. And so does Anila. And she says that she does it when Karen leaves to go to work. And I'm like, well, why you can't just give it to him before he go to work? Get up. Get up. What are you doing all day? The kids are at school. You like this all day with the camera. Like, why is you tired, Anila? I don't understand. Maybe the life of prestige is just so tiring to her that she can't even muster up enough strength to open her legs early in the morning for her husband and get in the shower and open them for the shower head. Okay, girl, moving on. So they ask, Quad is basically like, so how many times a day do y'all do it? And Toya basically says, of course, no more than 2. Like, Quad, how many times you doing it? I know you ain't doing it more than 2 times a day, honey. She was like, oh, no, I gets down with the get down. Okay, I'm doing it way more than 2 times a day. Like, I love to hump myself, okay, and pat the puss. Shout out to Erica Jane. Quad, you might break it. I'm scared for your cootie cat. You might rattle some things around, sis. I don't think that's stop sticking things up there too many times a day. It's giving ew. I don't whatever pleasures your fancy and you want to tickle your whatever, you go on and do that, sis. Do it as many times as you need to. Not my business. All right, not my business. I'd rather roll over to my husband. I'm just saying. But you go ahead and do what you got to do. You a single woman, so hey, you got to handle it however you got to handle it, child. All right, so moving on. Dinner comes to an end and the owner comes out and says, I have dessert, and on a supposed dessert platter, he has a stack of ones for the ladies. So Simone says, you get a stack, you get a stack, you get a stack. And then she says, we are going to the strip club, okay? So moving on, the ladies pile into this limo, child, and I'm like, Vegas, I'm gonna need y'all to get come into the 2000s with the limos, because that limo looked like the limo I had when I went to the prom, and it's my 20-year anniversary next year. Yeah, anniversary next year. So that lets you know that's an old limo. Get it together. Moving on. So they all pile into the limo, and Anila asks if the ladies are going to tell their husbands they are going to the strip club, child. Tell them what you're doing. And Contessa says Scott would be aroused. Contessa, why would Scott be aroused that you're going to see men? I know you guys are in gay TL. I do understand that. But ma'am, I don't think he should be aroused that you're going to a male strip club. Maybe a female strip club, but I don't think he's going to be aroused about a male strip club. Okay. So then all the ladies are like, well, I mean, whatever. I really don't care about what my husband thinks. So of course, Toya takes this opportunity to once again call Eugene to try to embarrass him some more. So she calls him and she tells him, Eugene, we're going to the strip club. Mind you, Vegas has a very different time zone than Atlanta, and Eugene works 48 hours a day. Okay, don't think about that too long. So the man works a lot. So you're calling him and waking him up out of his slumber to talk about some BS. So he says, girl, I don't give a damn that you're going to the strip club. Live your life. What happens in Vegas, keep it in Vegas, and don't call me about it, okay? And so then in the background, you hear Quad saying, yeah, and she said your Peter Weeder was small. I'm like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Don't say that, Quad. Not while the man is on the phone. And so Anila is like, oh, my gosh. So Toya was like, I didn't say that his dick was small. And she was like, you absolutely did. Absolutely. You definitely did. Quad said, you definitely said that. You did. And so she was like, well, he got enough for this. What she say exactly, child? She says, his dick ain't little and it's enough to accommodate this pussy. Child. Okay, girl. Moving on. So Contessa says, if we did a husband swap, who would you swap with? And Atoya immediately pipes up and says, I would swap with Anila because he looked like he long. And Anila says, long and strong. Anila, girl, no, don't tell nobody about your husband's Peter Weeder. You keep that to yourself, honey. You don't tell nobody about your husband. And Toya, you ain't fooling nobody. His money is long. That's what you want. You ain't worrying about that D being long. His money is long. He's a surgeon, okay? So that surgeon money versus that emergency medical money is very different, okay? Very different. If you take a look at the Real Housewives of Miami, and what's his husband that's a surgeon? Yeah, they're getting that cake, stacks on stacks on stacks. So she knows that's where the money is. So, child, you ain't fooling nobody. Okay, moving on. So then they arrive at the strip club for Black Magic Night. Okay, Magic Mics. All right. So the announcer says there's always one person looking to F up the fun. And so basically they're insinuating that Jackie is going to be the fun spoiler of the group, okay? Because she is sitting here bundled up like one of the new babies that she done delivered, child. And I'm like, child, you in the strip club. What is going on here? Like, don't be such a prude. Let it all out. Chill. Be in the moment. You're in Vegas, sis, okay? You ain't got to be all wrapped up in the daggone swaddler while you in the strip club. I'm just saying. Moving on. The guys come out, they do their thing, and then King Dingaling comes out, and he got the Jack in the Box. He goes right on out of the pants. I'm like, ooh, Bolo got some competition out in Vegas, honey. Okay. So he does his little dance. All the ladies are mesmerized. He goes off the stage. Then the announcer comes up, and Simone comes up and snatches the mic from the announcer. And she says, we have a special somebody that we want to come up. So, of course, she ushers Heavenly up on the stage. Then there's a whole lot of strippers that go ahead and surround Heavenly. So Simone is saying, yes, this is very strategic because now I'm going to record her and have some evidence on her. And we're going to put this on YouTube. Girl, on social media or whatever she said. I'm like, girl, okay, whatever. Whatever. But anyway, Heavenly seems to be having a good time. All the ladies have a good time. They all get humped and rumped on. Moving on. They get in the limo and they take their tails back onto the hotel. Okay? Then they show this in the next scene. They show the men at the workout boxing gym, child, looking. It was a struggle workout session. The struggle of it all. All of them are struggling. They're obviously out of shape. Anyway, moving on. The only thing that I thought was interesting about this scene was in the confessional, Dr. Damon and Dr. Heavenly are sitting next to each other. And Dr. Damon says, with all the men, I always try to do my best at everything that I do. And Heavenly says, yeah, you're the best at what you do in the bedroom. And Damon leans over and says, don't say that, buddy. I'm like, y'all are married, Damon. Why you embarrassed? Is you embarrassed? Don't be embarrassed if you tan it up. It's okay. That's your wife. It's your wife. And then calling her buddy, I just think that's hilarious. But anyway, the men start to get the boxing and carrying on and sparring. Hilariously, Karen and Eugene are paired up some kind of way. And I'm like, I wonder if Eugene knew that his wife was out in the Vegas of it all, talking about she want that long D from Karen. If this whole sparring session would have went differently. However, it's not Karen's fault. He can't help that his money is long and so is his peen, and she want to get on top of him. I don't listen. Whatever, you got to do what you got to do, child. But anyway, the men worked out. They were out of shape. Moving on. Don't nobody care. So the ladies make calls the next morning before they go to breakfast to give, I guess, their family members updates. Anila calls Karen. Toya calls Eugene. Contessa calls her trainer. Now, y'all, Contessa, obviously she hasn't been eating right. So I guess that's why she calls him. But she has like this giggly, girlish laughter every time she's talking to the trainer. And I'm like, girl, what's up with you and this trainer? What else he training? Yeah, I'm watching you, ma'am. Moving on. So Jackie calls her assistant. And then she tells the assistant about them going to the strip club. I'm like, Jackie, I thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Why are you telling this lady what y'all up here doing? That ain't none of her business. She need to go and handle your office. She don't need to be handling your business out in Vegas. I didn't understand why you needed to tell her that. But anyway, she gets off the phone with the assistant. Heavenly comes to the door because all the ladies are going to be coming to Jackie and Simone's presidential suite, if you will, to have breakfast. So Heavenly comes in. She brings the Dr. Refresh people in because they all going to get IVs because apparently the girls had way too much of the alcohol, if you will, the night before. Okay. So then once everybody gets set up, they get the IV people all set up and ushered in. Simone comes out of her room and all three of them, Simone, Heavenly, and Jackie, immediately go on a bacon hunt for Toya because we can't have no situation with Toya. God forbid Toya don't have no damn bacon, honey. So they find the bacon and all of them begin to drop it low. And I didn't know if Simone was going to be able to come back up. Them knees is not Megan knees. She wasn't about to make it back up to the top. She dropped it low and dropped it and stopped it. Okay, it wasn't going to be able to come back up. I'm just saying. Moving on. So then Contessa comes in. All the ladies begin to come in, and then Contessa comes in and jokes about Toya and Jackie seemingly having sex the night before because Toya had her cookie all up on Jackie's face, and I didn't know. I know Jackie wasn't doing no exam, so I don't know why she was all over Jackie like that, but whatever. But I thought that was funny that Jackie actually loosened up and they had a little fun. So then Heavenly, they all sit down for breakfast and Heavenly asked Simone, she was like, so Simone, yeah, that little 4-minute video that you got of me, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and send that to me so I can edit it. And Simone was like, oh no, I thought maybe, just maybe, we can go ahead, come to my house, and we'll put it up on the big screen and we'll talk about it. Just kind of like how you do on your YouTube channels, right? And Heavenly was like, don't play with me. Like, she's like, listen, y'all ready to ambush me one time. I'm a little sick and tired of all of this, and I'm over the ambushes of it all. So yeah, let's not do that. So then Simone is like, you know what? All jokes aside, I really feel bad about how the last situation went down, and we could have handled that so much differently. That wasn't really the outcome that we were looking for. And Heavenly was like, yeah, I felt like I didn't know what was going on. I'm sitting here laughing and nobody was laughing with me. And Quad was like, well, baby girl, nobody thought that was funny. You were making fun of us on your channel. So we're not going to think it's funny. It's not funny. So then Heavenly begins to apologize to Contessa. And she's like, I never meant to hurt you. I never said those things to hurt you. I was, I really, appreciate your friendship. And she begins to cry and get emotional. Then Contessa says, don't cry. You're going to make me cry. Contessa, use a goddamn lie. You got to be the fakest broad I ever met in my life. You don't give a daggone about Heavenly crying or getting upset about anything that's going on. Because to this day, you are still mad at Heavenly. And for what? I thought y'all patched it up right here. But apparently it's going to go, according to Heavenly, on her YouTube channel. She had an interview with Bondi Blue the other day. Clearly it's going to go left again, okay? Because, of course, Contessa got to hold on to the storyline because outside of Heavenly and her arguing, what else is going on? What else does she have to talk about? So, of course, she has to get mad at Heavenly again. But they hug and whatnot and do the little fake, yeah, I'm so sorry, and oh, I love you, and da-da-da. So fake, entirely fake. So Heavenly says, you know what? I apologize again. And, Toya says, okay, but really? Do you really apologize? And Heavenly was like, I get it. You don't really see any merit behind my apology until you see the actions behind my apology. And Toya is like, fair enough, or whatever. So Quad says, I believe you. And Heavenly was like, but Dag, I really am going to miss talking about you bitches on my channel. And Quad says, well, bitch, no, don't talk about us on your channel. That's what we talking about. Let it go. So everybody laughs, has a little laugh. Then all the ladies pack up and get the heck out of Dodge and go back to Atlanta. So this episode for me, y'all, it was a quick little kiki. Not really much going on, but it really unfolds the fakery of it all. Like, I really see that. I really believe that Heavenly really is hurt over all of this stuff that's going on with Contessa, because she maintains, even to this day, after filming is done and gone, that she really did love Contessa and that she really had a close friendship with her. And I think it really does hurt her that the friendship has gone south, and basically that her friend has sacrificed her to keep a spot on this show. Because let's be real, y'all, what the hell else would Contessa have to talk about if it wasn't for her arguing with Heavenly? Her and the trainer? All that would do is bring up rumors of, okay, is Contessa sleeping with the trainer? That would be the only other storyline that she could possibly have. And it's just sad to see women on these shows sacrifice their friendships like this just to stay on TV show. On a TV show, y'all. Fame is one hell of a drug. And Toya, you got to stop embarrassing Eugene. Eugene, what you gonna say about that? Because you want to attack and threaten everybody else because of what they saying about y'all finances. But the main common denominator of all of y'all issues and all of your problems is Toya. And all of these women always seem to want to protect Eugene and tell Toya, oh, leave Eugene alone and this and that and the third. But Eugene has to be the one to check Toya and put her in her place. She's going to keep on being disrespectful. So if he like it, I love it. And that's it. And that's all. Thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else who's watching this show with us too. And I will see you in the next video. I'm about to come back on and do Real Housewives, so stay tuned. All right, y'all. Peace out.